Hello there, it's great to see you again, and I hope you'll join me as we make our way further down the iceberg. So welcome back to the Dragon Quest IX Iceberg, Part 4. Also, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. The 7 figs represent the 7 sins. I don't see this as the figs themselves representing the 7 sins, but I'd say the stories associated with the figs are what represents the 7 deadly sins. Abbot Jack was prideful and wanted people to worship him. Dylan was greedy and tried to force Jonah to summon the Leviathan against her wishes. Lust I'd give to the lizard pet in Gleba. Wrath I'd give to Garth Goyle. Gluttony I'd give to Marionette since she wanted more friends than she needed. Plus she was given a cake as a gift, but since she's new to the world, she just thinks it's a decoration. Envy probably will go to the headmaster at Swine Dimple's Academy. And by process of elimination, I'm giving Saran Satsaral Sloth, but I will need to play the game further to see if I'm correct, and I'll change this up in the final product if I think it's wrong. But maybe comment what you think about it, maybe. Legacy and Grotto bosses force weakness. I didn't think this was a thing, but apparently the Grotto bosses and the Legacy bosses have weaknesses to the certain forces in the game, which are Fire, Frost, Gale, Funeral, and Life. Think of it like Pokemon, but it's actually not Pokemon, since it's actually Puzzle and Dragons, but it's not Puzzle and Dragons, it's a bunch of random games that have the same thing. The Grizzling Ghosts don't know they're dead. I think I know what this is talking about, which is the area of the game involved with Batsareg when you have to collect Bodura grass, probably officially giving you bragging rights of having officially touched grass in a video game. But in the ruins where you find that grass, you find a ghost town, literally, and by all the ghosts' dialogue, they don't actually know they are dead, which is honestly pretty heartbreaking. Dragon Quest IX is infinite. This isn't true, but it seems like it is, as the game has so much stuff in it that I'd be surprised if anyone even managed to get everything in the game, because it seems like you'd have to try and 100% the game just by playing it for your entire life. And even then, I think you still wouldn't be able to have enough time to finish it. In fact, an interview with Yuji Horii mentions this as well. Serena's death mirrors that of Jesus. I'm not sure how this is exactly the case, seeing as Serena was murdered while Jesus was crucified, but then again, I forgot to mention that the icebergs contain a lot of conspiracy theories. The woman in the bow hole was murdered by her friend. For those who don't remember or know, it's a dungeon in the game near Wormwood Creek. Supposedly, since my memory is a little foggy in the matter, there's a woman in the bow hole that is a ghost, and probably by the dialogue she speaks, she mentions or implies that her friend murdered her. Lieutenant Hoodingham Gore is the general who ordered Serena and her father's execution. I'm not entirely sure of the context that implies this, but I guess the theory is that Hoodingham Gore is the general that ordered the soldiers to kill Serena and her father, but other than that I couldn't really find anything to imply this, other than an entry in one of the wikis that stated something similar, which is that the soldiers from Serena's flashback is basically the same ones that are in Upover. Yuji Horii felt he couldn't top Dragon Quest VIII, so he made Dragon Quest IX drastically different. I think while researching the other entries, I decided to look up something for this and read it, but as of right now I can't find anything that mentions this, which honestly, just by a Reddit post, a lot of people enjoy Dragon Quest VIII more than Dragon Quest IX. How the Giddish Empire found the hero in Upover and took them to the Gortress. Before being brought to the Gortress, while Greynarl is fighting Barbarus, he has to take a large attack and protect Upover, and in the process the hero's thrown so that they don't get hurt, and resulting in the Giddish Empire finding them and taking them prisoner. It is both unknown how they found the hero and took them to the Gortress, but most likely the player was found by Barbarus, who took them to the Gortress, but that's just my theory. Stellas cameo in Dragon Quest X. Supposedly there's a quest in Dragon Quest X where Stella has a cameo, which I guess happens to be a Christmas quest, That's it, that's the entry. Revocation is linked to the rarity of grotto maps. I might have neglected to mention this in the last video, but it's a good thing I didn't, since Revocation has an astounding effect on which map you happen to obtain, which I also think shows on the screenshots that I have for the grotto map algorithms. Hyperrealistic Corvus. I don't even have to look this up because it's right on the iceberg, but in the game, once you have successfully beaten King Godwin, you go down to the very bottom of the Hoodingham Palace and you meet Corvus. At first you don't see much, and you don't assume much either. Unlatching the restraints holding Corvus, and he monologues, which at first you might assume is just because he's been alone for so long. Then you start to realize that there's a problem, and then BAM! You're fighting him. And this character design in the fight is kind of unsettling. Up to this point, you've been fighting a lot of different boss fights, and most likely got through it without problem. Maybe a few unsettling monsters here and there, but most overall cartoonish. Not this battle though. Once you're in the battle, you are met with this, a much more detailed version of boss that isn't cartoonish at all. Much, much more serious. Toriyama's declining creative freedom on the series. I did find an article that actually talks about this, but it's not really that he has declining creative freedom, but actually never had creative freedom. He even stated that he wouldn't have taken the opportunity to do the art for the Dragon Quest series if he knew he'd be doing the same thing for as long as he did. Even mentioning that many of the designs that he made would be declined for one reason or another. Fandango is a reference to Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. This actually might not be true. Sure, Bohemian Rhapsody does have the word Fandango in the lyrics, but even before that, Fandango refers to a form of dance which possibly had a Moorish origin and was popular in Europe during the 18th century and currently survives in the cultures of Spain, Portugal, southern France, and Latin America as a folk dance, which I mainly believe is what it actually is referencing. True location of the Starflight Express's secret room. When it comes to a secret room in the Starflight Express, I have no clue what it means, as I only saw any mentioning of a room being the final carriage in the train, which is only accessible through a DLC in the game. Realm of Almighty's haunting music. So just like for Corvus, most of the locations that you go to have cartoonish, upbeat, but sometimes somewhat scary music. But when you reach the Realm of the Almighty, it's not the same. There's something unsettling about the whole track, since it sounds more mournful, sad, very unsettling. Like there's something bad that just happened without you knowing. Anyway, that was the end of this part of the Dragon Quest IX iceberg. I should have the next video scripted and edited by next week, but no guarantees. Also, if you happen to watch this far, then thank you, and I hope you like, comment, and subscribe.